What's up, everybody? So last night, I Love a Mama's Boy. We're on season 2. We're all the way in episode 6. I'm George Mossey. This is my co-host, Heather C. And there's a lot that went on. We got almost every couple last night. So we have a lot to talk about. So I'm going to jump right in. If you guys didn't live tweet with us, I'm going to catch you up with everything that took place. So let's start out first with Byran, Tracy, and Jayne. So they're on their honeymoon. Things have not gone the way that they planned. Tracy already knew this. We already knew this. Apparently, Byran knew it too, because they had a conversation where Tracy was saying, I should be the number one person. Am I the number one person in your life, or is it your mother? And Byran replied, is that a real question? Like, don't ask me a question that you don't want to know the answer to. That's kind of how I felt like he answered that question.
I think that this is a sensitive subject because, I mean, as his wife and, girlfriend prior, I think that every girl wants to be the number one person in their spouse's life. But on that note, it's hard to just solely take that spot, especially if the person has kids.
She gave birth to his child. I feel like it definitely should be a point where she is becoming the number one.
But is she? What about the kids? You know what I mean? Like, it's just that spot. You're number one for his girl. you're the number one spot for his love life. Just like your kids are your number one spot for your priority, and the people that you raise and love. And then your mom is your mother, the person who birthed you, brought you in this world, or adopted you. I mean, everybody has a different
so I see what you're saying. You're saying there's different
She's number one
levels. She's number one in that lane.
It's not fair. It's not fair for him to be like, yeah, you're my number one, because she's just as important as his mother, as his children. Because we can go back and question that and be like, well, shouldn't your kids be your number one? So that's what I'm saying. She is. She is definitely, he has no other eyes for any other woman. You can tell he loves her to pieces. But I don't think that she could be in the same lane as mom.
Okay, I agree. I feel like you're right. There's a different type of love that you have for your wife than you have for your mother.
Yeah.
So I agree. You can't compare the two because they're completely different. So I understand.
Your mom should always be there to have your back when people come and go. So mom always is going to have that spot that no one can break. So that sucks, but
Yeah, it's not the answer that Tracy wanted to hear. I'm just going to leave it at that.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Theous, Tia, and Carolyn. So Carolyn has been living with Tia and Theous for 2 weeks, and Tia has basically lost it. So Theous takes her out to a dinner, just the two of them, because even while they've been staying together, every time they went out and did things, Carolyn has tagged along. So she feels like she's the third wheel in her relationship. So he actually took her out to dinner, only to be interrupted by a FaceTime call from Carolyn, which I'm impressed she's using FaceTime, because people her age don't usually do. So I shout out to Carolyn for being technology advanced. I love that. And actually, we found out that she's about to celebrate her 70th birthday, and they're going to Vegas, which they do every year, minus last year due to COVID. And Tia is actually using the trip as a test for boundaries for Theous and Carolyn. Right.
Don't even do it.
I don't see how he's going to be able to dedicate time to each of them. He's going to want everything together. That's how they've always done it. And I feel like these changes that Tia wants are a little too extreme based on the relationship with his mom.
I mean, it's very obvious that all these couples share the same common thing. All of the gentlemen on this show have a great, strong bond with their mothers. And the girls that they chose to be with have very strong, independent personalities.
Yeah, that's true.
So they're trying to, I don't want to say change, but they're trying to manage this relationship with somebody who doesn't think they're in the wrong. And I'm not saying that any of them are right or wrong. I'm just saying that in their case scenario, they want their cake and eat it too. They're not doing anything wrong because they're not cheating on you. They're hanging out with their mom. And it's like, how are you going to be jealous of my mom? You know what I mean? So in their eyes, they're not doing anything wrong. He could be kicking it with the fellas. He could be, you know what I mean? But no, he's out at a casino with his mom. So he's not doing anything wrong. She's looking at it as, I'm your top priority. I'm about to be your woman. You know, we're going to get married. We have kids, whatever. So they're in two different places. Not just them, all these couples.
They are. It's hard to tell someone that they can't spend time with their mother anymore because they're with you.
Yeah.
And it's weird because these women have probably dated men that weren't as close with their parents. So this might be a very different situation than they're used to, because there are men who don't call their parents unless it's their birthday.
That also could be a red flag. How he treats his mama could be how he treats you. So it's not a horrible thing.
Yeah, that's true. It's not a bad thing. So I'm hoping that they come to an agreement and this trip is enjoyable for everyone. You only turn 70 one time, guys. Have fun. Don't make this a test. All right, so let's talk about Mike, Steph, and Liz. Okay, so after the huge fight in Stephanie's...
Villain.
Well, yeah, Stephanie spent her birthday alone, her 27th birthday. Mike decides that his best course of action since they're fighting is to finally facilitate a meeting between the parents, which has not taken place in the whole 3 years that they've been dating. So I actually don't think this is the best way to go, because things, and actually Stephanie said as well, things are bad right now. So bringing your family together, because that's going to bring in a lot of criticism and questions, and you're not ready to be criticized and questioned right now because things are kind of shaky.
It's always hard when your parents are supposed to be one of your biggest support systems, and you go to them in confidence and say, hey, I'm having a fight with so-and-so, and if you heal and you move on, they seem to not forget about that. So if they're at a sensitive place and maybe she just wanted somebody to lean on, she went and spilled her guts to her parents who love her dearly. So now they're going to look at him and be like, okay, come on. You're 27. You need to get married. Where's the ring at? Where's this? Where's that? You know, and it's sensitive right now. And then his mom sides with him and was like, no, live your best life. You know, you don't need to rush into anything. And I mean, I think that everybody needs to butt out of everybody's relationship and let them live. If they want to get married, get married. If you want to wait 10 years and be engaged, do it. Because in the end, no one is going to pay for your bills but you. No one is going to live your life but you. Can't make everybody happy.
I agree. I think that they both have different expectations. And Stephanie expects to be proposed to, and Mike is not there. And like you said, everyone needs to butt out. They just need to have a conversation with each other. Sit down. No parents, no brother, no twin brother, no one else involved, and just decide what you guys both want. Because if Mike's not ready to get married and Stephanie is, they might need to take a break. Or they might need to reevaluate, what does marriage mean? Maybe you should just get engaged and then stay engaged for a few years until you're both there.
Exactly.
But until they have that conversation, they're just never gonna really meet eye to eye.
Can't please them all.
Exactly. All right, guys, that's it for part 1. We're gonna come back with part 2 and talk about the rest of the craziness that happened. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you live tweet with us every Sunday. We love watching the show. It's amazing. You guys are amazing. And again, I'm George Mossey. This is my co-host Heather C. We'll see you guys real soon.